Donald Trump in first attempt, when the first part of his presidency in 2017, he has come out with the tax breaks. And he has announced that he wants to boost the American economy. And he has given tax break, which were going to expire in 2025. So there was an obligation when the second term that he will extend the tax break, which he has promised in 2017, to continue permanently. And that's the big, beautiful bill, is a drastic reduction in the tax liability of the US taxpayers. So that's why it's a big bill, a big, beautiful bill. And at the same time, it marks a lot of expenditure for defense, etc. So that's why Mr. Donald Trump is saying it's a big, it's a beautiful, and it's a bill so that all America will become great again. So that's the idea and that's the objective. So reduction in taxes is a welcome measure, which all, by and large, everyone taxpayer loves, and that's why people are happy, should be happy. Taxpayer in US would be happy. And there is all the more reason because the percentage of the taxpayer in US citizen being very high as compared to any developing nation like India, where the percentage is low as compared to the total population. So obviously people now paying lesser taxes, so they will be happier because there's across the board a tax concession which has been announced in this big, beautiful bill. I see there are two aspects, and I will see two philosophy which works for taxation. One philosophy says, in case you reduce taxes, your collection goes down and your debt increases, so your economy may face a challenge and you may not be able to sustain that debt. But there is another philosophy and there is another thinking, a thought process or economics, which we call it. If you reduce taxes, you increase the purchasing power of the people. You give a flip to the economy, you give an accelerator to the economy, and that's why your economy will grow. And your economy grows, then you will be able to handle a reduction in taxes because then you have to borrow money to meet the expenditure. But at the same time, when economy grows, definitely the tax collection will ultimately, I will say, as an aggregate will go, but percentage-wise it may go down. So I am of the second view that by this big, beautiful bill, which the President Trump has announced, that US economy will get a flip. People will have more money in their hands. It will grow. And tax collection is an objective to achieve the social perspective as well as to manage the country's defenses on the home affairs, etc. But at the same time, if the welfare and the economy can grow by reducing taxes, I will say that's the best move, and which Donald Trump has taken a call on that part. Now, to address this issue first, we must try to understand the intricacy of this new provision. Probably people have not understood what does this mean. Firstly, you will see the tax proposed was 5%, then it was worked out to lesser percentage. Now it is only 1%. And 1% in case it is regular bank account transaction remittance, then there is no tax. It is only when you deposit money in cash or something like this, which is not coming from your regular bank account, that remittance will be liable for 1% tax. It is not all remittances. So I believe all non-resident Indians who are staying in US, they are resident of USA, they are earning huge money, they are accounting for that money, they are paying taxes on that income which they are earning in US, and from that money getting remitted to India, this 1% levy will not be applicable on that part. It is not every penny which is getting remitted from US will be liable for 1%. And further, this is not applicable on the US citizenship card holder, etc., because the US, they are exempt. It is only for the immigrants only. So there was, I believe, the thought process, because I believe this levy is a part of a larger plan of the Mr. Donald Trump, which was part of his election agenda also, that he wants to curb this illegal immigrants coming to the US. And that's a large, as you rightly said, that a large chunk of money has been kept to handle this issue of immigrants, large immigrants and their deportation on that part also. So 1% tax is only on some remittances which people do send through clandestine and other means. It is tax on that part only. It's not on the regular income, reported income which goes into the bank account. From that you remit, then there is no tax on. Now to answer your question on Indian perspective, as I saw this in this bill, I don't find that anything which is going to affect India on that part also. There is nothing which is going to affect on tariff also, and there is nothing on that part or some of the provision which are not related to taxation, but some tax breaks on clean energy, etc. Electric vehicle, they have taken away the tax break, etc. So these are a part of some of the internal politics of the USA. Some friendship and some going sore, something like this on that part. But otherwise, I believe a huge increase on the defense expenditure, $150 billion expenditure, which has been marked for the defense. That's an expenditure. A large chunk I do expect will be spent in America only. But now India coming very heavily on production of the defense side. Many of the Indian public sector companies doing very well on the defense production, India going on. I believe that should help India in case India can make an effort to that this $150 billion, but the US is going to spend on defense. What part of that expenditure can get India can make an export, or India can help, or India can do something on services or defense? I think that can be a win-win situation for India. I will say that this, you see, the question is it is a US tax bill. It's a big beautiful bill of US. And every country has a right to make a fiscal policy which suits it more competitive. It's not that when you are drafting a bill, you look into the other countries. You look into your own country. Like we in India, when we make our budget, we look into for our perspective only. Similarly, it is US. But at the same time, now to find out whether it will affect India adversely, I will say no, it is not going to affect adversely to India. It's going to be a benefit. Now, if I take it otherwise also, the tax concession given by the US will be applicable to all my US or Indian resident in USA. So are they there? So their surplus money will also be available. So if I look at from positive angle, they will be able to remit more money to India in case they save more out of the taxes. So this is one issue which I can look into that aspect.